Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Yeah, I'm back again for this third video, part three of the commentary dealing with the debate that Brother Muhammad Hijab did with against, or to say against, David Wood in relation to Tawheed and Tawheed versus the Trinity. And I would like to continue on it. You can see the brother talking at this point right now again, and then it will go into David Wood speaking. And I'm going to cut in and out of maybe cut one more time with the brother, and then let you listen to David Wood and hear his argument on the subject matter of Tawheed and the Trinity, or versus the Trinity. Okay, all right, let's listen in.
It gets a little bit more interesting even when you look at the New Testament. Now we know the New Testament has different authors. There's 27 books of the New Testament. You've got Paul, who's written from 7 to 13 books, and there's dispute as to exactly how much is written. John, written many books. Who is John? We don't know who John is, by the way. We don't know who John is, but yes, Paul had a kind of exaltation Christology. There's no doubt. He did believe that Jesus was divine. And a good example of that is the second Philippians, the hymn. But he believed in a kind of subordinationism. And how do we know that? Because if you look at line 9 to 11, it's quite explicit that God gives him the name. So he didn't have it before. Jesus did not have the name before, and he makes it above all names. So he believes in a kind of subordinationism. Now what is subordinationism? It's a hierarchy within the Trinity. Remember we said the Nicene Trinity is three co-equal, co-eternal persons of the Godhead. Paul didn't believe this. He believes in a hierarchy. John believed in an incarnation Christology. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Everyone knows the prologue.
Okay, what the brother's trying to get at is pretty much dealing with the fact of, and this is pretty much my commentary on what I understand from where he's coming from. He's trying to deal with the fact that there's much inconsistencies with the Christian or Christendom's historical understanding on how the Trinity was conceived, or how the Trinity came to be, and what it meant, and to different like scholars of those times, or people who came up with this knowledge and then accepted it, whether it was actually forcefully, or that they accepted it openly. Of course, it started out more on a forceful level, a creed, the Nicene Creed, and that's what the brother is expressing. But of course, the different understandings and how the people took it, and they even, he spoke on John and Paul and their differences of how they perceived the before it became the Nicene Creed. These two men were followers of him, of Isa alayhi salam, but they had different experiences that led to them being followers. Paul, on one hand, he really wasn't originally a follower. He was actually against. He was actually an oppressor, a suppressor for the regime, or for the imperial rulers that were Roman, and then of course their puppets from the Jewish background of rabbis and different people that they were puppetizing, and they were influencing, and they influenced forcefully because they had a rulership, occupation of Jerusalem, of those areas, and where the Christendom was early Christendom, as you can say. So, Paul really he was like a tax collector, and he was working for the system as a Jew himself, and his name was Saul. This is a history that you got to follow and learn from, but you can learn who Paul really was and what, and then he took on the name Paul later, you know. And then you had John, which doesn't, there's not enough, like the brother was trying to state, there's not enough history on him, there's not enough information about him as far as his background and then how he came to be a disciple, a so-called disciple of Jesus, you know. So that is the basis of what the brother's bringing right now, is that there's no strong foundation of where they're coming from, and the basis of the Trinity. It's very, very weak, you know. And this is what this is his argument at this point. Okay, so we'll finish up and let David take his chance now. All right. Okay.
John chapter 1, yeah? But the question is this, who is John? His gospel was found some 95 AD. This is the time it was found, 95 AD. That's some 65 years after Jesus' disappearance. The irony of it all is that you'll find in the Gospel of John, for example, passages like John 17:3, where it explicitly mentions that the Father is the only true God. Explicitly mentions this. And this was such a thorn in the side of the church fathers that Augustine, a major church father who died 430 AD and who wrote an exegesis on John, do you know what he said? He rearranged the words of John chapter 17 verse 3. He changed the word order so as to make Jesus and the Father the true gods. This is how severe it was. When you find Mark chapter 12 verse 29, the Jew came to Jesus asking how to be saved.